All right, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, this is Takenya Battle out here, and I do want to talk to you guys. So I'm just asking up front. First of all, I hope y'all are having a great day. It's Friday over up and around here. But welcome. Thanks for coming. Let's go ahead and get this party started. But yes, I do want to talk to you, and this is a tech talk. So a music tech talk. I expect some form of exchange to be going on here at some point. So that will help me help you, help me help you. All right. I do want to talk to you guys. If you would follow that link right there, https semicolon slash slash link tr.ee slash Kenya's Keys. It's right there. I can't even remember how to say all of that. Go there and schedule a chat with me. And I look forward to helping you guys out with your music tech as relates to making sure that your students are getting everything that they need, everything that they so desire. So, without further ado, get this thing going, okay? All right, so take that off there. I'm gonna get out of here too. So, are you frustrated or are you fulfilled? Here's your introduction, guys, because I mean, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to be online for a good little while. As you can see, I don't like wasting time. I want to get right to it. It's 12:01. We hitting this ground running. So the tools and the resources that are at our disposal are continuously evolving. There are updates and modifications being made to programs. The tech is doing what it should do. It is supposed to change. And the thing that has remained constant is the sound pedagogy. As teachers, as educators, as information seekers and givers, we're still going to make sure that our students are getting the following concepts and beyond. Just a few to knock it off, or like we're going to make sure kids are going to learn theory and adults. As music educators, we always make sure that we're instilling some form of improvisational skills into our students. We always want our students to be aurally aware, that 2-5-1 progression or authentic and playful cadences. What do those sound like? And also, we want our students to be able to create and compose. These are just fundamentals of musicianship. It applies across the board. It doesn't matter what instrument or voice that you teach. These are things that we all share in common with one another. You're in the right place if you love to let your students shine. You're in the right place if you're using technology to teach or you're curious about using technology to teach. You're in the right place if you love learning new things. I think that's kind of fundamental as an educator as well. We're always looking for the next new thing. And also, this is the right place for you if you kind of need a gentle nudge to just go ahead and do it. What you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Go ahead and do it. Now you can just keep it moving. Kindly move on. I'm asking nicely. If you frequently what if yourself, you can what if yourself into a corner of paralysis. If you have that analysis paralysis, I understand, I can relate, but at some point you're going to have to pull that trigger, okay? There is room for doubt, and there's also room for doers. And I just encourage you to choose your own adventure. If you expect perfection at all times, may I kindly remind you that we're humans and we're doing human things. None of us are perfect. Okay? If you can't grant yourself grace on this journey, may I remind you that we are all still learning. And if you're afraid to fail forward, may I remind you that baby steps are still forward movement. Be nice to yourself. You're here today because You care about these people that you're leading. You care about these people that you're instructing. And you also see their success as your own. You take it personal. If they're not getting it, you always like self-question. Oh man, it must be something I'm not doing that keeps them from getting that fingering pattern down. What am I not doing? How do I fix it so that they can be successful? And you're also here today because you crave info on improving your current setup. I always say start where you are, use what you have, and certainly do what you can. The rest, I try to let it go. Note that I said I try to let it go. It doesn't always go that way. So after this music tech talk, this is what I'm hoping you guys will gain. I want you to connect with other like-minded educators. There is no way we can exist in a vacuum and not want to reach out to one another and not want to help lift one another up, not want to see each other shine in success. No one has gotten anywhere in this society without the help of someone else. And so what we're here to do today is to connect with other like-minded educators. We're also here today because I want you guys to be able to discover new tools and resources. And how are we going to do that? You guys are going to actively share your gripes and your goals. You can do that publicly or privately. I don't need to know all your business, but if you got something that can help somebody, give it out. If you have a question about something, ask. There's an old saying, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Open your mouth and ask. And if you don't know, and now you know, who am I? Some of y'all are probably like, who is this lady? Tis I. Okay. So in short, I'm to Kenya Battle, the chief troublemaker at Kenya's Keys Voice and Piano Studio. We're sitting in the studio right now. Here we go. Okay. But I introduce kids and adults to the magic of music making through performance and personalized piano and vocal coaching programs. I am an Army veteran and a best-selling author, and I love coupling classic wisdom with today's tech for music instruction. So as the chief troublemaker, I routinely help my students boost their confidence, master their favorite instrument, and unleash their inner superstar. That's my job, right? And as the owner operator of Kenya's Keys Voice and Piano Studio, I also provide personal consulting to fellow studio owners and music educators and instructors and independent musicians. And I also write custom music for other small business owners. So these are all the things that are in my wheelhouse, all the tools that I have access to, all the things that make me unique, all the things that help me help you. And now my mama's calling. Real life. Hello, mother. Mama, can I call you back? Okay. All right. All right, mama. Bye, girl. See, that's that real life. Okay. Yeah. So there's some things that uniquely make me who I am. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a person of African descent. uh, my family can trace their lineage back to a couple of different countries in Africa. We are rooted here in Texas, and let's see, I'm the second female on my father's side of the family to even graduate college. Other unique things about me. Um, I taught in Dallas for 14 years. I had over 10,000 students while I was there. I resigned and opened up Kenya's Keys Voice and Piano Studio. We moved to Maryland, and from Maryland, we moved back to Texas. So, I'm from Oak Cliff. That's my hood. But I mean, I have a certain skill set, and I want to help you guys improve your own skills. Yeah, I know, right? Mama's calling. Dorla's like, Mama's calling. Mama don't play. So when Mama calls, I answer every time. I must answer. Want you guys to stay all the way to the end because I just got some free things I want to give you. Who doesn't like free stuff, right? Free stuff, free stuff, free stuff, free stuff. What? Stay to the end. And let's get started. So, here's our music tech talk overview. These are the 5 topics we're going to knock out. Okay, so we're going to talk about in-person instruction, all the what was happening pre-pandemic. Okay, then we're going to talk about the pandemic pivot that a lot of us had to do this real fast 2-step, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Then we're going to talk about different tools and resources that are out here for you guys that you may know about and that you may not know about. If you have something, share. Just like Dorla dropped something in the chat, you guys can do so as well. And, you know, stuff doesn't always go as planned, right? Get your gripes off your chest. Make sure that you remain professional in those gripes. We do serve people, and we should honor them and have some integrity about what we share. Okay, don't be putting people on blast like that. Don't do that. Own what you have a gripe about, and then we're gonna set some goals and go get it. So let's talk about in-person instruction. What was it like for you before the pandemic? What was it like for you on your typical day-to-day? What was it that you always looked forward to? What was the easiest thing about your day? What was the routine for you? I can tell you the routine for me for in-person instruction is, I would send out a schedule, send out what I anticipate the schedule to be around the time that school started back. So like the first week of school was the week that I took off from teaching so that I could kind of compile like, okay, this is what my own kids have going on at school. So this is what I can do here at the studio. If you don't know, I'm married. I have 3 children in the house. I have 3 children out of the house. And the kids that are in the house are 2 in high school, 1 going to first grade. So last year I had a kindergartner, a middle schooler, and a high schooler. And I needed to make sure that I'm available for my babies. So I would build my schedule around my kids. And so I would have lessons that started after I dropped them off at school. And I would have lessons that started after I made sure whoever came off the bus was here at home. I would typically end my day around 6:30, teaching day, because it's dinner time and I want to kick it with my family. And the time during the day when the kids will be at school is the time that I'll be working like in my business behind the scenes. So, attendance and planning, phone calls, emails, those kinds of things, the typical things we always do. But when it was time for the lesson, and if you hear yelling, that's the 6-year-old downstairs. Because real life, right? A typical day for me, let's say it's after school, the little one's here, he's got his snack, he's good to go. And I would have my first lesson maybe at 4:00. That works for me, 4:00. And it'd be group lessons. So I'm going to show you what my group setup used to be. And I'm using one of my cameras in here. So this is the keyboard I teach at now. And there's like keyboards all across the wall. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 keyboards across the room. And if you're asking about, how do you do that overhead cam setup? Keep watching. We'll talk about it. It's really just a click of the button. Switch. So I teach my babies. From about 4 to 6, 6:30 at the latest. And group lessons would be like between 2 to 4 kids in here at a time. Sometimes father-son lessons or mother-daughter lessons in here at the same time as well. And it was just a routine. I knew if it was Monday, so-and-so was coming. If it was Tuesday, these people were coming. If it, you knew what your routine was. You had the iPads on deck because I've got like 1-to-1 iPads because payment plans are awesome, right? Plus you get the Apple bonus point cards at your disposal. But in-person instruction was comforting for me You would get ready ahead of time. You don't want to pull off last minute stuff doing this kind of setup, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. But it was just real routine. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room because you knew somebody was going to be like boots on the ground in a hot second, and you had to be ready. So a lot of forward thinking here, and your backup plans as well. So that's what in-person instruction was like for me. I'm gonna pull this back in. I would love to know what it was like for you. So anybody want to share, show, shine? Hopefully I'm describing like the typical in-person instruction setup. But then something had happened. Well, it was the best of times. We could smile and see our babies and high five them and hug them and provide them with immediate tactile reinforcement. Hey, baby, we're using finger number 1 on middle C today, or we're using finger number 1 on G today because we're in the G position. You could see it and fix it immediately. And that sense of community was really, 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 really close. And another thing that I loved about in-person instruction is that I had music apps on the ready. Those kids knew the drill. They knew the routine. Hey guys, when you come, everybody's going to play the most addicting cheat game for the first 5-6 minutes, just to make sure everybody has arrived for the lessons. And then they would jump and do their actual lesson based on where they were in their lesson book. And then at the end, we would try and do something collaboratively, whether that be a game, like a card, like a game board type game, something physical that represented a physical tie into the music. But then something had happened. Here's music tech talk too. We had to do a pandemic pivot. Believe it, don't believe it, I'm rolling with it. Pandemic pivot. And that meant a lot of us had to scramble for resources and scramble for tools and scramble for setups and scramble for delivery and scramble for, it was just like the quickest turnaround that I've had to do in my business. But even still, even though the turnaround for me was kind of quick, I still didn't, I don't want to say I wouldn't say I panicked. Did I pause? Yes, I definitely paused. And when I say pause, I mean, I was like, you know what? I'll think about it tomorrow or later on in today. I'll figure it out. Because when things happen for me, it just so happened to be spring break. It was March, it was spring break, and I was luxuriating with my family and reveling in self-care. So I was enjoying doing nothing until I had to do something. And my doing something entailed just taking what I normally do. So for me, every lesson has the same 3 things. Everybody's going to get that theory. Everybody's going to get their lesson. Everybody's going to get that collaboration time. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because my students, I'm using my lesson banners here. So I make sure they have T.L.C. in every lesson. And that stands for theory time. And I've had to translate that and transfer that from like using maybe the most addicting sheet game app in the studio to doing something else online. We'll talk about that. Then we have lesson time. And I just reached over and grabbed something. So everybody's got one of these sheets in my studio, and it kind of tracks where they are. I know exactly what student is where and who did what and who shot John, because these are things that I already had in place. And I'll talk about that too. And then we would always have collaboration time. So it always worked out. We had a set system. It was working for us. So these were some of the things we had to deal with during the pandemic. Look at the frustration. Look at him. He's just like overwhelmed. He is overwhelmed. So we went from being like, it was the best of times to now like, it was the worst of times. Is this like Shakespeare or something? I don't know. We had to quickly retool the delivery of instruction. Not only did we have to do that, a lot of us had to train staff. Then a lot of us had to go back and train students. And then a lot of us had to go back and train the parents for the new expectations on student success outcomes. Now, I ask you this question. Did our intent to teach theory, oral explorations, improvisation, composing, did that change? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We still expect to teach these kids, because most of us teach kids, we still expect to teach these kids the same exact stuff. But how do we measure their success now? Because we're not in the same room with them. What are we supposed to do? And how do we do it? We have to set new expectations. Do not lower the expectation. Set a new expectation. But I know for some people it was like, oh man, and now I have to like figure this out again. I got to figure out my stuff all over again, right? What was it like for you guys? Again, it's a music tech talk. Chit chat. Chit chat, chatter whack. Some of y'all will catch that. Some of y'all will catch that. Those are some of the things I experienced. So I think one of the things I did was I had to go and create a way for my families to get into their lessons. So this is the way that I created for my families to get into their lessons. Just a couple clicks away. This is what I did. So on the homepage of my website, I tried to make it easy for them. But hey, live online lessons, right? This is how I solved that problem. So when they're ready for lessons, when I first started doing like my entire studio online, I tried to like centralize where everything was going to be. So I didn't have to scoot and scramble and slap it together, and it was too much to do while still teaching. So I just put this web page together on my own website, and they just click and they join their lesson. Now the link behind there stays the same. So the link for Monday is always the same link. The link for Tuesday is always the same link. The link for Wednesday is always the same link. Same for Thursday and Friday, because Saturday and Sunday, ain't nobody coming up and through here. But I try to give them some reminders of expectations. Show me your hands and show me your torso if you're singing. Get all your materials together. Have a parent close by just in case. And I even made a short video so the parents could get a better understanding of what I need to see during lessons. And then, of course, the internets are being what the internets do. But you get the idea. But that's what I did to kind of problem solve there. Yeah, too much too soon, still figuring it out. Totally relatable. I do not have all the answers. I do not expect any one person to have all the answers. And that's why we're here, so we can learn from each other, right? That's just me. Here we go. So these are all the things we were dealing with, right? Trying to make it happen without missing a beat. We're trying to keep the music going without missing a beat. Easier said than done. Some of us have the tech knowledge already. Some of us, it was a greater learning curve. But the goal is the same. So let's talk about those tools and the tech that we use to make it happen. Okay? So you have to consider the following. You have to think about what it is that you want to have and what it is that you really need to have. And I know a lot of the big things for a lot of people may be different for you. It's not going to be the same for everybody. Everybody loves to have great sound quality, right? Can't be sounding like caca and poo-poo over the internet. It's just not happening. You can't come up in there talking about, all right, kids, copy me. And it sounds like it's not pretty sounding over the internet, because Broad bandwidths have a lot to do with that. A lot of us want multi-cam views. Now you have to ask yourself, is it something that you want? Is it something that you need? I'm totally using the built-in that's on my laptop. My laptop is older than the child that's sitting downstairs watching Craig of the Creek right now. Fingers crossed, that's what he's doing. You want to make sure that you have something that is easy for students to use. And some of us are into like real heavy, this note taking and note making. I just kind of tell the students what they're supposed to do. I make a note. If they do it, they don't do it. Remember, this goes right back to this sheet right here for me, because all my kids, all my students have something that I'm pulling from already. I just write down the date and what we did. It's not that hard for me. You know, that's tech. That's still technology. We want something that's reliable and group lessons, y'all. If you're not doing groups, if you're not doing group lessons, if you are a parent or if you're a person who loves to prioritize your time, your private time, I'm telling you, group lessons, let me say it with me, group lessons. And that's what I was doing before everything got shut down, locked down, turned off. And that's what I'm still doing, group lessons. I'm still doing group lessons. What makes it easy is that we're following those same three processes: theory, lesson, and collaboration, creative time. The expectation hasn't changed. I just had to transfer the delivery. Here's the next thing we're going to talk about: gripes and groans. Gripes and groans. Get it off your chest. Let me see, what's one of my gripes? I don't know who that is calling. Let me see. One of my gripes. I wish that I could play and sing with my students at the same time. I really, really miss that, being able to, like, in live, real time, collaborate with them on the spot without having to modify how we do that. Now, we still do it. We still collaborate, but I've had to modify how I do it. That's one of my gripes. That's one of my gripes. And what I've done to problem solve that is, for my singers, I'll create a custom backing track for them. I'll use Logic Pro and like create no more than like 3 or 4 tracks. Really, literally no more than like 3 or 4 tracks of something that they can sing to. So that's personalized instruction. It caters to the needs of your students and still gets them to the goal. You want them to be a musician. You want them to sing. You want them to be able to take the oral cues from the music you're providing for them. And, you know, a backing track takes me, what, 15, 20 minutes? It don't take a long time. It doesn't. And then you just send it to them, and then they've got something that they can use on their end and play back and sing to. Because, you know, let's face it, when you have your singers, everything's not in the key of easy for your students, and you have to modify that. You can't always find a backing track. We're just using it. It's for personal use for the student. We're not making albums here yet or this time, but that's one of my gripes. I really miss being able to just really get with my students. And let's see, that's my gripe. Let me see if I got a groan. Just like, ugh. I don't know who that is, Colin. One of my groans. I miss people. I miss people. I miss people. So consider the following and be ye not afraid, y'all. Yes, that's really me. But if you notice, it ain't even loaded. That's me. You gotta relax, relate, and release. Relax, relate, release. Relax, relate, release. You gotta relax, relate, release in order to make it through these gripes and these groans. So it's better to get them out than to hold on to them. And make sure you're taking care of yourself before you take care of someone else. And one of the ways that I do that personally is, I've set a goal for myself, like I will run or walk or shuffle or jog or trot. Remember, baby steps are still forward movement. 6 miles every week. And usually I hit that goal come Wednesday or Tuesday if I start on Sunday. That's how I take care of me. That gives me time to not be anybody's mama, not be anybody's wife, but to be to Kenya Bow. And I get to read my little audio books while I'm running, or sit there. You know how you like pull up to the house, some of you moms, and you kind of sit there in the driveway when you get home, just to have a few more minutes of peace. I get my time before I give it to somebody else. Make sure you rest and restore. This is how we deal with some of these gripes and groans. Um, I have a loving husband who's quite supportive, and if I need my feet rubbed, I get my feet rubbed. Okay. And always check your mindset before you begin. You have to set your intentions. Those gripes and those groans are coming from somewhere. Get to the root of it so that you can do what? Adjust fire and drive on. That's me at the range. Pew pew. Ain't nothing popping over there. Trust me. Nothing's happening over there. So up next, let's the MTT 5, the Music Tech Talk 5, the fifth thing we're talking about is goals and go. Goals and go. All right. I can tell you what some of my goals are. I want to increase student creativity opportunities. And I also want to have another virtual recital. So we had a virtual recital in June, May or June, like the end of May, like Memorial Day. That's that. Yeah, we had ours like the week of Memorial Day. And I had like 20 something plus students participate in our very first virtual recital. So pandemic shut everything down around here in March. April, we're already having a virtual recital. Keep that momentum going. Keep everybody motivated. And, the kids and I are already talking about the next one, probably going to be in October. Did an 80s theme last year. We'll see what we come up with this year. But know that mistakes will be made. I know, like, sometimes I taught you guys earlier that, like, I use the same link for Monday, and then I use the same link for Tuesday. Well, there's been times where, like, I've logged into, like, the Tuesday link on a Monday, and I'm like, where are my students? Where are you? And I'm like, Tangle, like, where are you guys again? I'm like, I'm here. And I'm like, oh, I'm on the wrong day. It's okay. It's okay. The lesson still was made. Okay. Things won't go as planned. Case in point, 2 weeks ago, I had one of my children was in the hospital for 5 days. I missed everybody's lesson after Monday at 11:30. I missed every single lesson after Monday 11:30 on July 13th. We went to the hospital for one thing and it turned into something that needed immediate surgery, which turned into something else. And we were there for 5 days. When I say we, my son was there, but I was there with him. He's only 16. And know that when it is go time, there is no pause, there is no fast forward, and there is no rewind. You have this moment right now. You have this moment right now. This moment right now. We can look back and be like, oh man, I should have. Oh man, I wish I would have. You can do that all day long. But what you gonna do right now? Because whatever it is that you do right now sets you up for your future self to be like, thank you, right? So I just told you 2 of my goals. You can either declare yours publicly or write it down. Give yourself something to do that gets you to where you want to be if you're not content with where you are. So in summary, boys and girls, we talked about what in-person instruction looked like before. We talked about how we had to pivot for the pandemic. We talked about a few of the tools and tech at hand, some gripes and some groans that come along with it, and some goals and how to get going. We talked about that. We chatted a little bit virtually or in the comments. I saw some of y'all. Questions? Somebody asked about groups before. Somebody asked about group lessons before. How do I do group lessons? Let me see if I can find a picture here and I'll share it with y'all. So again, when I'm online doing group lessons, if I can find some of these babies doing something already in my phone. Let me show you one of my babies. Okay, here's one of my babies. It's up to you. If you say it's over, it is. It's only two. But that was during the collaboration time, and that child was sharing something that he had written. He's like, I wrote this song. You want to hear it? Here you go. And he played it. Totally fine. That's part of our collaboration section. And if you saw at the bottom of the screen, it was just like all the different windows that the children were sitting in. Because for this platform, I can make it be like this. There's a couple things I can do with it. You know, different ways to set it up. But it works. It works, right? I want you to maximize what you already have, optimize what you're already using. There are no questions. I do have an invitation for you. I want to talk to you. I do. I really want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to about five people by the end of next week. Just tell me what it is that you'd like to know, and then I'll tell you some things that could possibly help you grow, and vice versa. Yeah, I think Dorla said one of her gripes is she's always sitting. I've added squats. Like I have the thing on my Fitbit that like goes off at 10 before the hour. And so like when it goes off at 10 before the hour, I'm like standing up. Well, okay. And now it's time to squat. And so I'm like doing like hitting my squats. I just do them until I don't want to do them anymore. About 10 to the hour. Not sure forget about that sitting. I'm like, stuff turning to jelly back there, and I don't want it to turn to jelly back there. Group lessons are the bomb. But yeah, that's my invitation to you. Check out that link, the one that's here. Let me find. Those are my recital banners. Right here. Yeah. Go here. There's like something in there. You click on it and you can just set up a time to talk to me. Okay. Go there. I'll even make this bigger. But if you want to get more tech tips and tools of our trade, say that 3 times fast. If you want to get more tech tips and tools of the trade, join the Facebook group. You're probably like, what's the name of the Facebook group? So glad you asked. Oh, yeah. Those are some other bonuses. In the Facebook group, I'm going to give you a $10 credit to use StreamYard, which is the platform that I'm using right now. I also have 1 free month of My Music Staff available. And I think I also have a link for Fonz. If you guys aren't aware what Fonz is your go-to for scheduling and payments. My Music Staff also does scheduling and payments. But Fonz is another one that I've been able to find you guys a little resource. But you can only get that if you're in the group. If you want to connect with me, here are my deets. I'm not going to dwell on that. But I also want to keep this here for you guys. This quote is quite timely, especially in the passing of Congressman John Lewis. He said, "We may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us." We may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us. So what are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your time? That's like the only thing you can't get back is your time. want to thank y'all for coming. And I also want to invite you once again, please join the Facebook group, Music Teacher Tech, to get more resources. So, if you don't have any other questions, gripes, groans, goals, and goes, we're done chatting. That was our first Music Tech Talk. And I want to thank specifically, I want to shout out Dorla Aparicio, because Dorla's piano pyramid is what I'm going to be using as part of our theory exercise. So remember, theory, lesson, creativity, and collaboration. Dorla's got these wonderful multi-level group lesson ready piano arrangements of popular and original compositions that are just, you just open it up. The kids plug and play literally at their level. She's got 5 different levels available. So if you haven't seen, let me put this on here. Piano pyramid. Need to get you some. Get some of that in your life. Get some piano pyramid in your life if you haven't done that. What's another resource that I'm using? Well, I use my music side. I told you that. I'm using StreamYard. I'll give you a $10 credit for that. And then another resource I use, I'm getting ready to use. I'll probably talk about that one later because I need to finish exploring it. Just need to finish exploring it. I got you, Dorla. I always got you. Janet, Kate, Renee, Ivan, Robert, Taby, okay. Taby, Dorla, Janet, Kate, Renee, Robert, and Ivan. Y'all are a special circle of people for me. I'll make sure I get y'all something special. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming. If you're looking for me, here's where to find me. I've gone too far. Yeah, here's how you find me. Right about that. And so I'm going to be putting more resources and tools together for you guys. I want you to be able to access information at your fingertips, and I want to make it easy for you. If everybody's in agreement, I got some practicing I need to do. I got to learn like how many songs? Let me see. I got to learn. I always try to have stuff within hand's reach. Oh, and if you want some low tech stuff that I use, I always keep stuff in hand's reach. Oh, now look. Flashcards. Hey kids, play that. Hey kids, play this. Name it. Play it. First one to play it. Bing, bing, bing. You have personal satisfaction of knowing that you can identify the note. But yeah, I gotta learn 1, 2, 3, like 5 songs by tomorrow. But I'm a musician, right? This is what I signed up for, right? I can do it. And you can too. Ask your questions in the group, and I'll see y'all later.